Hey there, greetings. I am Marina Ormes here with your Astro Vibe for Monday, April 24th. Today, the moon starts out the day in Gemini and then goes into Cancer. So we have a little bit of Gemini energy. Oh, my cat is here to say hi. And then some moon in Cancer also, which takes us into our feelings and our emotions. So on Saturday, I went in depth on the moon in Gemini, what it feels like, how it brings us to a place of curiosity and, distractions that can lead us to noticing things we don't otherwise notice. And so we've got some of that going on today with the moon in Gemini, but think about what happens when you are, like on Saturday, I was describing, my cat's gonna wreak havoc here. When I was describing how when you're in a bee in a field of flowers, that there's getting distracted, getting attracted to all the beautiful colors and smells. And that bee is going to flower, exploring everything there is to see. And so what happens is we get a lot of information when the moon is in Gemini or with Gemini energy. We're taking in data. We are receiving information. We are collecting information like a basket full of eggs. We're putting all the information into our basket. And we get a lot of information. So what happens is that we need to go from Gemini to Cancer. And if you've ever wondered why things progress from one sign to the next, think about how it feels when you get overloaded with information. And then the moon shifts into Cancer and you get to get cozy, huddle up in a safe place in front of the fire on your sofa, watching Netflix or drinking tea or sitting in your garden or something that's just cozy and nurturing and caring. So that allows you to work through the eggs that you've collected. Maybe it's a basket full of green beans that you need to shuck or something, like, right? It's just like there's a lot of information that you have collected and you need to process that information. So that is what the Cancer moon helps us to do. It is about doing the inner work that allows us to heal, to rest, to get comfortable, to really take care of ourselves. And so Cancer is about retreat. The energy of Cancer is the energy of the mother. Think of a mother holding a child. It is that feeling of retreating to a place of safety. And what happens when we retreat to a place of safety is that we can relax. And in that relaxation, there are body processes that take place that are literally healing. So you're in a state of rest, your cells can regenerate. And in a state of rest, you can process your feelings, you can process your thoughts, right? All that information that you've been gathering, all of that data and that input that needs some time to just be sifted through and processed and figure out where it goes, right? What to do with it. So that's what's happening when the moon shifts from Gemini to Cancer. And we feel that need to get cozy, to get safe, to hunker down, to take care of our needs for comfort and care, just to build that caring space for ourselves. So the same way that a mother would create that caring, that cozy hug, just like the safe lap to sit on, the place that you want to be so that you just feel safe and held. Create that for yourself when the moon is in Cancer, and it will help you to process what information you've been taking in. And yesterday, the video that I did on 10 ways to stay sane and productive during Mercury retrograde in Taurus, that is the period that we are in right now. And we are going backwards through the zodiac as I described yesterday, and I gave you some great ideas for how to think about that and how to work with it to increase your productivity. And while the moon is in Cancer, we additionally want to be thinking about what makes us feel safe, what helps us rest, what helps us feel relaxed and de-stress, and doing those things, because it really is important. You know, it's to have balance, right? We need to balance activity with rest. And it's one of the things I've been noticing about the ways that animals do it in nature, right? They really have a way of balancing their activity with rest, and they do it naturally. And we have kind of gotten away from that as human beings. So we need to remind ourselves how to rest. It's important to balance the activity that we do with rest so we can be more effective in our activity. All right, so the moon in Gemini, first part of the day, collecting information, getting curious, asking questions, exploring and processing the information that is around us, taking it in, you know, noticing what there is to notice. And then when the moon shifts into Cancer midday, it's going to depend on your time zone, but I think for the West Coast, for my time, Pacific time, it looks like it's around noon that the moon goes into Cancer. So it's, you know, East Coast, it'll be 3 p.m. So it just depends. But that shift into Cancer, see if you notice it, right? See if you notice how things, you start to feel more sensitive and more like, okay, it's time for me to take care of myself and get cozy. All right, so don't forget to learn more about Mercury retrograde in yesterday's video, and I will be back tomorrow with more as we move through this moon cycle that began with last week's solar eclipse and will culminate with an upcoming lunar eclipse in Scorpio. So we're right now between two eclipses. We are building in energy, and in fact, this is a really powerfully creative time. But remember that we want to think about the Mercury retrograde as we do this creative time. So yesterday's video gives you a lot of great ideas for how to do that and how to make the most out of the time that we're in and the activity that we are doing, because we are in a moon cycle that began with a new moon in Aries. If you're following me every day, that'll make a little more sense to you. So watch every day to stay on top of what is going on and how you can use that information to best care for yourself. Thank you so much for being here. I am Marina Ormes. You can find more about me at astrologyheals.com. And thank you for subscribing and for your support. It really helps support my work and help me get it out there. So it keeps me going every day. Thanks for being here, and I will see you next time. See you tomorrow. Bye for now.